Okay, everybody. Hello, welcome to my second live streaming for a free topic about marketing, promoting your film. This is a part one because this part of discussion can be a long, ongoing. Hi, this is Johnny. I've been making movies since 1998, and my background is marketing and branding. So I got an MBA from Cleveland State University, and been using that as a way to promoting my films. And today I'm going to talk a little bit of a lot of topics, about 6 pages of different options that you can do. And that doesn't mean that you have to do one by one, but you need to do is do them together and as a group. You know, each one of this is a different part of the marketing promotion to make your movies out there. So you need to do all together to make them work. It doesn't necessarily mean that one is better than the other, but it's just different kind of things to do. Before I start, if you do have any questions, feel free to post in the chat room there so I can actually see and read them right away and then answer you right away. There is a 20 to 30 seconds delay, so that may happen. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to get this started. The quick background is I've been making movies since '98, like I mentioned earlier, and have been very fortunate enough in the sense of be able to promote them, get them written up by media, the newspapers, and coverage, and so on. And that's helped a lot to make the movie successful instead of people know what it is. At the same time, you can actually be able to think that I'm the expert per se of what I do for filmmaking. And so when I have a special premiere, VIP premiere, or screening for each one of my movies, I always have a sold out crowd or more than sold out crowd. And actually that helped a lot in the sense of promoting it. So what I'm going to talk here are different topics, from how to create a press kit, media kit, to kind of in a general way to do a press release, the type of design that you do, the branding you do for a film, and working with media, press, and do some research. Some of the topics. This by far is not a what do you call a lock, or the only thing you need to do, but it's more of the option that you can do to make it better. So we're going to go and try it out. The first thing here is there's 3 topics here, so I'm going to go through them one by one and then explain a little bit about them. So first thing is press kit and media kit. When you make a movie, either short film or feature film, it's always a good idea to provide a little press kit. The press kit helps to send to media researchers, bloggers, and so on, so they have an idea about what your film's about. And this is an ongoing press kit, and in the sense of gotcha, Wayne. Hey, Brian. So when you have a press kit, media kit, you use that to shoot and promote your film. It's a very good idea to have something like that. So I shared a link there that you can actually download a bunch of different press kit from different movies I've done so far in the past, including the latest one. So what is included in the press kit include the laurels of different festivals you attended to, the design of the poster, a synopsis about one take about what the movie is about. Thanks, Brian. Being fun. I mean, being at home is always being the same thing I do before and after, so it's kind of cool. So nothing else changes so far. And then in the press kit, you also put in all different reviews from different medias, articles, people. You also do a little bit behind the scene, talk about the director, producers, the actors, and then so on, and some screen grabs. What this is very useful is when you send that to other places, like another bloggers, at a festival, you get to be able to use that as a reference to add additional in what you do in the project. So for example, if you have a feature film and you send it to a film festival, and sometimes you want to be able to go to the festival and try to promote it to other people that go to attend to the festival, a press kit, media kit always help in the sense of you can send that to your film reviewers or film bloggers of that city, and they can use that information and pull out all the information they need, and they just ask you additional questions. So that's always useful for that. I always do that because it's always important to be able to have a record of what I've done and also compile all the different laurels or different festivals or all the different critics reviews into one little package. And it helps a lot in the sense of distribution wise and get the word out there. So you can go to the link mdifilm.com/2016/press-kits, and they should have you a list from the first feature film I made till now, which is Wuxia the Code, which coming out this coming May, end of May, distributed throughout all over the world by High Octane Pictures. So you can check that out. The other thing about is creating a press release for your own films. And a lot of time, well, I wouldn't say they're lazy, but a lot of time, all the reporters or writers for any newspaper, they basically use your press release and copy and paste and put their own wording there a little bit and then send it out there. The good thing about, the interesting about press releases is it's very simple to do. Really, the first paragraph usually is about the general gist about your project, your film. So you can say, let's say if you do a horror film, that you do a general idea about. This keep repeating. So Tyler is having some issue. So when you write the first paragraph, you basically put the time, date. For example, it's feature film premiered information press release. So you put about the first paragraph would be what is the film about, who's the director, where it's going to showcases, what location it's going to be at, and and so on. So that would be the main thing. Second thing is about the movie itself, what it's about, and why it is so important that you want the people to come see this movie. Not because your movie is great, your movie is fantastic, your movie is made in Cleveland or made in your city, but it's more about why this movie will pique the interests of all the people who's going to read this article or this news release blog about it. So if your movie is about it's a drama thriller film, then you can talk about the personal point of view of that movie. If the movie is more about how a person got into drugs, overdose, and then realized it's not something he want to get involved with, and then he tried to turn his life around. So that's a good storyline, right? So use that as a part of the way to sell it. It's very important to sell it in the right direction, in the sense of reporters don't like to write about how you are doing great other cities. They like to write about how you are bringing excitement to the city. So think about that as a niche. So if you're doing let's say you want to do a premiere in Hollywood, LA, and you are in any other city beside LA, and then you want to do it there, then sure, it's you can send out press release out, but only thing problem is most of the people in your city will not cover that because it's nothing to do with the city or not to do with the people. But now you talk about you making a feature film in Cleveland or Mentor or Akron or any other city, then you can use that as a way to say that you're bringing opportunities and opportunity for the people to learn about filmmaking and in your city, and try to get that all together as a group. So that is something to help in the sense of make it a press release stand out, and the people who get the press release, the news reporter or news media or the bloggers will be interested to write about. So design is something a little bit more trickier. We always like to do this. We like to create a poster, sometimes with everybody we know in the movie in the poster. And the problem with that is, yes, it will highlight the people that part of the project and make them feel proud about the project, locally speaking, internally speaking. But when you are going to use that to sell to the other public besides your own cast and crew or the people that you know, sometimes the first question they can ask you is, who are these people? Why are they on the front cover of your poster design? So that's kind of important in the sense of understanding how you want to promote it. Yes, it's kind of cool to create a poster that have all the main characters of your movies in it on the front poster, and that will actually make them feel excited to share it at all of the places. But for general public, it may not be something they're interested at. I'm going to give you a very good example. This is a design we did back in 2007 for a movie feature film called The Rapture. This was sold worldwide and then screened to over 20 different film festivals back in 2007. It was shot in SD, unfortunately, so it's not a full HD quality. So when first I created all the design-wise, I have actually had 3 designs. I decided to put all the different main actors on the main poster. So we have Ira Goodwin from the one pictures on the left side, George Studi in the middle, Annie Kitra on my right, so you'll be your right. And then I did another poster that have a Donna Williams on the left, and then we have Brian Richardson in the middle, and then we have Kyle Zemanek on the right. So it's kind of interesting because you can show that they have power because they have a staff, they have martial art going on there. And you see a guy with a wing on it. Unfortunately, this kind of poster doesn't do well in the general public outside of my film circle of friends. In the sense of I will have people who doesn't know me say, who are these people? Why are they on the poster? They are not Steven Seagal. They're not Tom Cruise. They are not this and this and that person. Why are they on the poster? Although in the other way, they feel like they are important enough to be on it, but at the same time, it just doesn't sell. So when I sent this poster design to my sales agent back in 2007 to try to represent my movie to sell it worldwide, he struck it down. He said, this is stupid, this is ugly, this is not the right way to do. So he asked me to redesign it again. And so we created this one. And so this new one, it's actually way better than that O2 here. So what you're going to see pretty soon on your screen now, once at 20 seconds point there, is we had 5 different people's head on the main poster, and each one has a different color eyes, and that helps in the sense of, well, I guess it's frozen up a little because it's not moving. There you go. And then that shows that there's different kind of they're not human beings. And then we have a little silhouette person with wings on the one side, and we call it Rapture. So even though the movie is called The Rapture, it has nothing to do with biblical film. It is more a sci-fi martial action film. And my sales agent really liked that a lot, and he said that this actually should work, and let me use that as a poster to sell it to worldwide. So yes, we got sold to, we reached and sold to over 20 different countries and got some money back, which is kind of cool. It works out really well. And then remember, guys, if you need to ask any question, feel free to just jump in and type your question there so I can read it and answer you right away. So this do well. Sadly, as if you're into distribution, understanding of how distribution works, this may not work for certain countries. So in the sense of making this work, some countries or buyers of that territory will change your poster to make it interesting for their territories. So after about a while, maybe about a couple months of using my movie poster, this one for distribution, and we heard about Japan wanted to pick up the movie for a certain amount of money, and they redesigned the poster to distribute it over there in their country. So they did they even changed the title. They called it Cyborg Soldiers. So they basically use the picture of the people with different eyes and then put a title and put a whole bunch of stuff on the top. So that works really well. And then the other poster was designed for the other countries, which is the one on the right. It's very, I don't even know, it's kind of like look like a horror film because say The Rapture, and then you have the weird design or little weird thing in the background. So by the way, the logo design for The Rapture was created by Tony Semanji over in Akron, Ohio. It was kind of cool. He did that. It's really, really kind of cool, sci-fi-ish, horror type of design, but it works. So anyway, that is the reason why distributors will eventually go and change the design to make it work for their purpose to sell the movie to their audience. And this way, hopefully they can make more money into it, and this way your sales agent or distributor will get more money in, and then you will get money as well. I will do a talk later on down the road about producing and also about the distribution outlets that I've learned from the normal way to do things of distribution, and to the new way of do is video on demand distribution, which is a little bit different, and it's actually probably the best way to go for now for independent films. So going forward, branding is another thing that is very important. Branding of it's something you have to think about is how do you want to brand? You can brand yourself as a filmmaker to go out there so people know who you are and that you're making movies, or you can brand the movie. Just be careful. Don't overextend too much from each other. They're supposed to help each other grow. So you know about Johnny Woo because he's a filmmaker. He does a lot of testing films and such, all of that. You also know about his movies. So that's a branding for the name Johnny Woo. So if I die, people say, Johnny Woo died, maybe his film still could be around, hopefully. So that would be something to do. At the same time, branding is about, like they say here, it's the idea of visual communication that identifies the personality and the experience of a product. A product in this case is your film, or a company or service. It's about establishing an emotional connection through a variety of communication vehicles and so on. Branding is about understanding the needs of your consumer. So if you keep hearing my name, you keep hanging out with me, you keep talking to me, I have become the brand of who I am to you. So you understand who I am, you know what I do, and etc. etc. So that's kind of what this is about. Branding a movie is basically being go to different networking events, go to different places, and tell people about your movie. Tell people why this movie is important. Not because it's the best script in the world, it will bring your city into the map. Not, but be honest about why this movie is so cool for your point of view. In my case, I do a lot of action films, so I would say this movie, Wuxia 2, the code, is going to be released as Immortal Kombat: The Code. And so it's important because it's an action film, it's a sci-fi action film, and it's shot over Ohio, and we have over 100 people cast-wide involved in this project. So this is something you want to check it out. I can also say that I have a lot of people who have seen the premiere on a big theater and really like the storyline. So I happen to have a good product that people enjoyed watching. Then I'll show them the trailer, and that helps a lot. Speaking about trailer, there's certain type of trailer you have to think about is when you put together a trailer for marketing, you have the regular trailer that you see most of the time would be it's trailer based on story, or it's trailer based on action, or it's a trailer based on sales distribution opportunities. The third one for distribution opportunity is usually one that have a lot of actions, a lot of cool shots, a lot of different things of the movie that sometimes not even necessarily mean part of the movie. And that's very important because when you take that to a distribution agent or sales agent, they will show your trailer on their booth or area venues doing any film market, like the Cannes film market, the American film market, the Hong Kong film market, and so on and so on. So when they're showing the trailer had to be impactful enough that when a buyer come into the area and see the trailer, immediately get hooked and want to stay more and watch more and find out more. So that's how it is to work on learning about distribution and get the trailer correctly. So there's three types. You can do a story one. Usually story one is really good for movies that's drama, comedy based, or certain type of non-action based films. And it works really well because you tell a story within about 1.5 minute time frame for the trailer. So that's kind of important. So I have here networking with reviewers. That's kind of something to really speaking is become friends with other people that you meet that are going to be writing about you. But it's very important. In a reviewer or a blogger or a media reporter would not write about you more if they don't know you, but they will write about you more if they know you and they get to know you as a person. So I can say, and I know for a fact a lot of my friends also can say that a lot of people like Conrad and others, that when they pick up a phone call and call the Cleveland news reporter from different news media outlet, they will say, all they had to say is, hey, this and this, I'm having a feature film coming out for premiere. I need your help to help me promote it so I can sell tickets. 90 out of 10 of them will say, 9 out of 10 of them will say, sure, not a problem, I'll be happy to help you out. Or they will ignore you first, but they will write an article a week before your premiere date to help bump up the amount of people that attend. And that happens a lot to me. I have reporter friends that I can just email them and say, hey, would you mind helping me to promote this? And most likely they will say yes to me. Because first, they like me. That's obviously because I become a good friend with them and become a friend that they can hang out and talk. Even though we don't hang out, sometimes we can just talk with respect to each other and be honest with each other. And then the second thing that they do is they see that I bring result. So because I also put together events like the Cleveland Asian Festival and the Cleveland Cultural Garden One World Day, I get to meet with these people and talk to them a lot, and they get to know me as a person and value what my input is about. So building this relationship with these reporters helps a lot. I can call Channel 3, Channel 5, Channel 19, and be able to get an article and a support right away in there to talk about certain things. At the same time, when they need me to talk about, for example, right now, the COVID-19 is giving a lot of racial tensions between Asian Americans in the United States. So you would get a phone call from the reporter and ask about, hey, anybody in Cleveland or Asian Town is being hurt. So can you help us talk about what can we do to help the Asian Town community, the Asian American community in Cleveland? So you give them something, they give you something back. So it's a really, really good way to building a relationship. Of course, sometimes if that doesn't work, you can do something like take them out to dinner, invite them to certain place to have fun with, to just get to know them better. So that's a very important thing to deal with, and it can help out a lot. Give me a minute, I gotta read something quickly. So another thing very important about marketing and promotion about your film, and this is all things that you had to do all together. It's not like just you do one thing and do the other thing. You had to do it all together as a package. You may do, first thing you do, social media marketing about your movie, create an Eventbrite page, and then create an event on Facebook and so on to push it out there. You had to constantly push it out there to make it work. At the same time, you had to sell your brand to the market, attending different networking event, attending any social event in your city or the city that the film is going to be showing. If possible, go there. If not possible, you can just reach out to social media and post your stuff to there of that city to promote it. So all this had to be done together. Reviewer, the same thing. If your film is going to be showing in Pittsburgh and you don't know anybody in Pittsburgh, first thing first, go to the Pittsburgh community or the city of Pittsburgh area, Google for Google news reporter for in Pittsburgh, jot down the names of people that related to film reviews and such, and then connecting with them via email first. If that doesn't work, call them up and then talk to them. It's better than that way than just email. A reporter get more than 100 tips email a day. So make you different from everybody else is you actually pick up the phone and talk to them in person or over the phone. Don't be pushy. Be polite. Be genuinely interested or ask for a favor, and be nice to them. And the other thing also importantly is if they decide to write a really, really bad review about your film, which they have done a lot to my film in the past. I even have a reporter said to me that, I shouldn't be a filmmaker. I should just go back to do what I do best. And what happened then after that is I actually talked to the reporter or the reviewer more, and I get to know him. He get to know me, and then he realized his point of view of what about my movie is more subjective about how he perceived the world. And because of that reason, he changed his tone for the second short film that I had put together. I sent it to him, and he's like, okay, since I get to know you, I know where you're coming from, and you know where I'm coming from. So let me just let me watch your film with a new perspective, and from there, I will do a better, a nicer job of writing about your movie. And so it did. So a lot of reviewers, after they get to know me, they actually write a better review about my movie. Some would say, instead of saying that you should quit your filmmaking job and do something else, that person actually now write about, now I see where Johnny's point of view coming from, and actually understanding his movie better, and actually enjoy his movie. I think it's still not there yet, blah, blah. And then you send them the third movies to review, and they actually get better and better. The more they get to know you, psychologically speaking, the less they're going to say bad thing about you because they want to be nice to you, once they get to know you. So that's always the thing about human beings, that we are what we do. So reaching about research, it's very important sense of, if you're doing a horror film, you don't send your press release or reach out to any film reviewers or blogger that doesn't have anything to do with a horror film, just because it's not their forte and they're not going to be interested in write about you. So you have to do your research about that perspective. And you also need to research about your competitions, independent filmmakers. If you do a sci-fi film, research about all other independent filmmakers who does sci-fi film in your city first and on the city where your film festival can be released. That will help a lot in the sense of providing an inside understanding about how the film looks compared to yours, and be friends with them. Why? Because now you have a network relationship building with another filmmaker who makes similar type of film. Now you can learn from each other. At the same time, at the end, everybody gain. So if you find, let's say you notice another filmmaker who make a sci-fi film, and his sci-fi film looks really better than yours, of course, obviously, be friends with this guy, learn his secret, learn how he make it better, learn how to, learn the best from him. And if you find out that this guy actually got a distribution deal, maybe he can help you to connect with the same distributors to get your movie in. Or if you got your movie into a distribution deal, maybe you can provide that information to that filmmaker so you can help him move forward. At the end of the day, it helps you because you're helping other people, and it makes this relationship building better and have a stronger community help in each other wise. So it's a very good way to brand out the network. And guess what? In the future time it comes when you have another movie come out to promoting it, this filmmaker will actually help you promote it too, because he wants to see you succeed. Yeah, the other side of the token is there are also other filmmakers who are never gonna help you whatsoever. So just be careful with that and don't get into things that get hurt, basically speaking. I see what else I have here. I'll try to get this one. Okay. So another part about promoting, marketing your film is how to involve in advertisement. You can create PSA and have them read on radios, on newspaper, on TV channel, depending on how you write your PSA. A PSA has to be something compelling to the community, not compelling to your movie. It's basically similar to what you do with the press releases, but at the same time, it's more 30 seconds or 15 seconds long. So what you do is you actually write a script for a 30 seconds or 15 seconds long press PSA that's compelling enough that people or the community will connect with you in the film. And then you send that with your press release or your press kit to the media reporters and ask them to write about it. And they said then, I have the press release here for you to get more information about what I'm doing. I have the press kit here so you can see what's going on right now. And also I have a PSA that you can use to advertise, help us promote it through your network. And most of the time, if it's your story or your information is compelling enough for the public that this reporter is talk about, it will help them. They will be willing to put it out there as long as there's nothing important happening in that moment in the news. So if there's nothing important happening in the news, and during that time it is a dead time for news, then your story will get out there fairly quickly. And of course, you can pay for it too. For example, in Cleveland, you probably can spend about $1,000 to have maybe 15 different spot of 15 seconds commercial air on a week, plus a one or two opportunities to be on a live interview on TV. So okay, so that's something that you can put together and pay money for if you want to do it that way. It's really cheap. It's really not that. Or you can go to friends of yours to say, I got a trailer here. Would you mind be able to help me put it out there? I'll answer your question, Tyler, about example PSA. So the other thing you can do is you can reach out to theaters. For example, you're going to be premiering a movie at certain theater, right? And you can actually see whether or not they're willing to have your trailer play the week before before every other screening of any other movies besides yours. And they sometimes will do it for free, sometimes they charge you a fee or so, but they probably ask you to give it to them on a DCP format, because nowadays most of the chain theaters or small theaters are all showcasing film on DCP format. So with DCP, you can actually create your own, or you can hire somebody to do yours, and it's not that hard. It's really simple to do. Put it together, get a trailer there. The trailer may be a 2-minute trailer, can take about only 3 or 4 gig of space, so you can actually put in a flash drive this and take it out there. So this way you can actually have your trailer play a week before the premiere date, so people actually that goes to the movie theater can see it, and then they'll remember that there's a movie coming out this Friday, for example, and then we'll buy the ticket at the theater. So that'll help a lot. So about example PSA. So like I mentioned earlier about the story about drugs. Let's say you have a story about like I mentioned earlier about the person, she got overdosed, got into drugs, overdose, and then turned her life back, and then become a better person, and so on and so on and so on. And it's an inspiration story. So your PSA can be something about how one person have overcome obstacles, and due to the opium crisis, he fell into the deep of nowhere, and then eventually came back and conquer or may become a better person after he met this opportunities, and proceed to be moving forward to become greater in reality. I kind of going blank right now, but usually that's something you want to put something together. 15 seconds PSA. So come see the film movie by Tyler Thomas about a guy who fell into the bottom of the opium crisis, and somehow found Jesus and learned to become a better person. See his ordeal, coming of age story, and so on and so on and so on. Something in that sense that in basically have the date, time, and what's about fairly quickly in 15 seconds to let people know. If that's a lot of work to put into a 15 seconds PSA or 30 seconds and so on, then you do is, for example, the Wishatu we do it was, I'll say, come to Atlas Cinema Theaters on Friday, blah, 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 at 10 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night to watch a sci-fi martial movie by award-winning filmmaker Johnny Woo. For the general public, they don't care who is Johnny Woo. What they do care about is sci-fi, action, martial art, or they care about is award-winning part. So that is the tricky part to entice people to be interested. But obviously, to be able to have the PSA shown or given out by movie theaters, you kind of have to provide other information besides that PSA to get in there. So, yeah, Furious, Wayne just have a very good question. Most of this are good for feature film, where a press might not cover short film. Actually, that's not true. Short film can be covered if you got into the film festivals. So let's say you got into Cleveland International Film Festival. Definitely, a reporter will want to write about it, as long as your storyline have a community interest, people interest, which is funny because if a movie is about segregation, immediately they will pick it up. If a movie is about diversity, you will pick it up. If a movie is about coming of age, some reporter will write about it, certain will not. So it's all depending how you get the word out there. So you really have to go and think about, for your 5 minutes, 7 minutes short film, what is the core message this short film is going to give to the general public? Is this about just to showcase a film, or is it about there's a story behind it that will pique the interest of the general public, or there is a sad story, or there's a coming of age story that intrigue, or is an LGBT type of story that make people think a little bit, or racism kind of story. So it all depends. It's easier to write a press release or PSA about racism, segregations, and minority winning, and saying that those are easy to do because this is what we all connected with from day-to-day basis. It's also easy to talk about pandemic right now because that's something happening right now in the world. So it's always easy to put something of that kind of articles together. It's hard to do an article about sci-fi film. So when you come to that point about sci-fi, you kind of think about what will have people to come to see this movie. Sometimes people want to see a sci-fi film because there's a lot of spaceship fighting against each other. Sometimes they want to see a sci-fi film there because there's a lot of action and there's lots of killing each other. Another good example would be Keith Collins' feature film, Maximilian. So for that movie, for example, it's easy to put together a a press release because it's all about the best assassin wins within a fight. So that's, it become a blood sport, but in a more contemporary way of doing things. So, hey Brian, so let's see what you asked. Thanks for doing this broadcast. What tip do you have for someone releasing to Vimeo? How much do you suggest to charge for future film-based rental or buying prices? Very good question. As an independent filmmakers, I don't recommend anything feature-wise than to be more than $15 or $20, maybe the max you want to do. You're going to have a hard time to sell it. Rental-wise, don't go over $10. It's just because if you look at most of the feature film from Hollywood or independent based large studio film, you can rent a feature film from independent studios for $9.99 and so on. So those are actually cheap for that. If your film is compelling enough to be a thing that you can actually try to do it, then go ahead and try to raise the number, the rental fee or the buying fee higher first, and see how the market goes. If the market doesn't do well, drop it down. You can always drop down the amount, then go up. So remember that if you, whatever you do, you can always go down, drop down the amount, then going up. So it makes it work. So obviously, when you take it to film festival and showcasing it, you want to have trailer, poster, postcard, business card out to place. You got to remember, film festival are not there to really showcase your film. Film festival is out there to use your film to make money for their film festivals. Always think about it that way, then you make you understand. So if your film can bring people to the theater to see it, then your film is a successful film for the film festival. And if your film you don't think is going to be able to bring amount of people to the theater, and it will be up to you to help push it out there. So a press release, a PSA, a trailer, a compelling trailer, smooshing to the reporters, all this is going to work a lot more easier to get it out there, because it's going to be something to help push out there and have people go to attend the film festival. Sometimes it's very hard when you go to attend the smaller festivals, and you have a hard time to tell people to go. But if your festival is happening in Las Vegas, and you know that you'll be there to also help do the Q&A, so what you do is you go to Las Vegas City or user group, whatever, and then try to find Google about different reporters for the newspaper outlets in Las Vegas, and then talk to them, become friends with them, network with them, and ask them to write something for you for the news for promoting it, and that usually helps really well. So then when you get to the festival, network is the main key to get your movie out there. You will walk around and on doing the different breaks, you tell people about, hey, my movie is showing at this time and this day at this place. So I hope that you can make it. Or hey, if you don't have time, you have free time at 2 o'clock today, come to check out my film at this room, blah blah blah. Give some giveaway, have your name, pen, flashlight, and so on, giveaway, and that will help a lot. Excuse me, talk too much. To do it. So for example, I have here a flashlight pen that I've been giving around to people. Have my company name, what I do, and a very strong flashlight. So I give that away to potential people that are actually going to network, that become friends. So this way, they remember who I am, and I remember who they are. I also have pen that I give out to anybody who I meet with that actually have my company name there. So this way they can actually know. Getting all this stuff is cheap. Like you can get 300 pens for $100, 300, 400 pens for $100. And that's really not expensive. And obviously, if you don't have money for that, get a business card. Vista Print have a business card, and other places have business card that you can get for really, really cheap. I like to support local film, little printing companies, so I usually suggest to go to local print places. Like in Cleveland, we use Zippity Print because they are really good with me, and they actually give me a really good discount. They're actually a good place to go do promotion and postcard, business card. If I want to go to do banners or big, large poster, I go to Image Lab Media. They are really great people, locally owned in Cleveland. So you give money back to the community, and then you help each other out. Why this is important? Guess what? this is a very good example. One of the reporter is a very good friend of one of the commercial printing company that I work with all the time. So when I give business to this printing company, what's going to happen is the owner, who knows me now, will talk to his friend, who happened to be a reporter, to write about me because he likes me and he likes what I'm doing for the community. So it becomes a big circle that everybody works together and make it work and have a good relationship. So it's a very important part of that. There's a lot of things also you have to do. Social media wise, you have to promote it like crazy. Unfortunately, you just cannot post one time and then think and hope that will be it. Sometimes you have to post more than one time so people to see it. They always say marketing 101 is very simple. The more you talk about your project, the more chances people will think you're an expert or like your project. And you can also ask your cast and crew help promoting the film, but give them a guideline. You can tell your cast of crew to say, hey, help me promote this project, help me promote this movie, but here's a word that you want to use to do, and they use the hashtag. Instagram is actually really good in hashtag, that use hashtag to promote it, because the more correct hashtag you use, the quicker people actually going to follow you, because they actually use the hashtag to search around. So I hope I answered lots of your questions. I have 10 more minutes to go, so anybody have any more questions, this is a good time to post it out there so I can actually see it, because it do take about 20 seconds time to get to me so I can read it. If you don't have any questions, let me talk a little bit more about the other stuff about. So there's obviously other option that we can talk about is, for example, I just actually learned about this, and this is something I should have done earlier, is when you have an IMDb presence for your movie, for example, make sure that when you post your movie at Amazon, or it's shown on Amazon, let Amazon know that link that movie into your IMDb. So when they go to the IMDb page, they can say watch it on Amazon or buy it on Amazon. They can click there and do it. They do not do this automatically. You have to go to excuse me, IMDb and the one section, and you have to submit the information, the ID code from the Amazon Prime or the Amazon Video, and the ID code from the IMDb of your movie, and put that onto an email to send it to IMDb so they can actually link them together. The more they link it together, the quicker people can know that this movie is available. They can click on the IMDb and go watch it. So what happened there is when people review on IMDb or Amazon, automatically they can sync it together so it goes in both sides. So that's something important to do. Grassroots word of mouth is very important. Ask your friends. I know sometimes people are very embarrassed or to share stuff because they feel like, you're pondering them a lot, you beg them a lot, you annoy the heck out of them to share, or they think that only share once a week is good enough, or once over the one time and all they need it for. But it's not true. You need to maybe twice a week or once a month is probably the minimum. But sometimes you may have to do twice a week to get it up. Especially in social media right now, you go to a user group with 3,000 people who everybody posts also at the same time, which make it harder for your stick to be on the top of the level. So sometimes you have to go back in there, type something on your comment or your project, so you go back on the top so people can remember. The algorithm in Facebook group is hard now, that it says that it actually mostly let you see the most commented about topics. So it make it really difficult for all the different one. If nobody talk about them, they just got buried down. The other thing you do in promoting and marketing your movie or project is simple. Let's say you're going to have a premiere for a short film or the feature film at the theater, and you're hoping that people can buy more tickets. You can ask your friends. They say, "Hey Wayne, would you mind help me sell 10 tickets in here? If you sell me 10 tickets, I'll give you 2 free tickets to go to the premiere." Or you can have a raffle. Said the first giveaway raffle, so you can promote it all over the Facebook, all over the social media, and then say something about if you buy your tickets between this and this time, and you let me know, the first 100 people that buy the ticket get a free flashlight, and that would be a chance to get it. Or you can sell T-shirts, posters, postcards, stuff like that, bumper stickers if you want to do that. to give things or give it away, so to get that relationship. The other thing you can do is once you get your name out there and people know who you are, sometimes it's kind of cool that you happen to know a friend who happen to know somebody who's very important in the community, and you invite them to the premiere. You get a chance, you can invite a mayor because you happen to know him very well. They say, come to see my movie. And what's going to happen is he brings leverage in the sense of promotion marketing tools to your credential. So everybody know who you are. Everybody thinks that, oh my God, you know the politicians too. So you must know everything about how you must be important. It's really just helping each other out. You can also do viral marketing, which is hard to do. Viral marketing sometimes it means about you can do something stupid and silly, and then you touch on something about, hey, come to see my movies. I think one guy who does a really good job of that is Mikhail. He does a lot of silly different trailers and output of little tiny short films or short clips, and to connect it then into a really cool project. Like the Low Life film, which is it's a sort of web series. It's actually really good, and he knows how to put together a silly little viral marketing thing that make it work. So that's always a good thing to do. You can go to magazine sites. Sometimes people write about you because they like your project and because they have a personal and compelling story, and so that would do that. Search engine wise, it's as tricky. It's also usually also based on your movie. So if you put a movie title Wuxia 2, for example, start with the WU, which is the last name, which usually will be the last part of the Google list when you type it in there. And so you actually will put it Wuxia 2 the code, if a film by Johnny Wu. So the word a film actually help make this movie ranking on Google search a little bit higher because the word a film. Now the Google algorithm right now is kind of interesting, is if they have more people searching for that name, particularly speaking, the more they search, the more higher it ranks up there. So ask your friend, I do a search, and that'll be easy to do. Hey Sean, thanks for watching. And his question is, do you think they should be put in festival to be seen or heard if you're making short film? Also, should you upload to YouTube? Depending how is your audience on YouTube and so on. I personally think a short film is used to use as a calling card for your capability as a filmmaker. So when you send it to a film festival and you got in there, you get a chance to meet other filmmakers who either hate your film or because you got in there, or like your film because you appear like them. And so they will either help you or destroy you. So you can look at their way. But if you're honest, you're nice, and you like to share information, most likely they'll be able to give back to you too. And that will give your name there because now you're getting a following. Now, if you have a YouTube channel with over 3,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers, you don't really need film festivals because you already have a fan base that can actually help with out. Going to the film festival is good to network with other filmmakers. It's not really to have your film shown. It's more about networking with other filmmakers, make your name out there so other people who are not filmmakers can go see it. And that is a way to get your name out there and to outside the filmmaking community. But if you already have followers, you can either do both. You can just ignore film festival. It's okay because you got enough followers that actually know what you do is legit, that they actually like it. A friend of mine who used to work at a rental company, a video rental company, has said this before, and it actually rings true. He said a person will come in to rent a certain type of movie by certain type of directors, and then he will return it back 3 days later and say, this movie sucks, this movie is horrible. And then he walks away. A few months later, this director came out with a new movie, and this same person who said this movie sucks, didn't like his movie before, will actually go and rent it again because he's curious to see whether or not this director has improved. So what can happen with that is he will watch a movie, the person will watch a movie again and realize the movie sucks again, and then he will return it and he'll say, I'll never watch a movie from this guy anymore. And guess what? The director make the third type of movies, and this same person will go and rent it again. Just because there's curiosity of wanting to know whether or not the person actually got better or not. So you will rent it. And maybe after the third time he will not rent it again, but most of the time people will come and rent the same director, even though the director's movie is horrible. So that can happen a lot. I hope that answers your question, Sean. And another question you guys have there? We have sometimes have 8 people watching right now, and then sometimes we have 10, 14, and then you drop down to 8. 8 seems to be a very average amount of people. So sometimes if you have a feature film and you have a lot of independently owned scores, soundtrack from different band or music people that you work with, create a CD and sell the CD to help promote them too. The more you promote them, and the better everybody working doing it get excited about. Maybe you even can do a music video based on one of the songs, and then as a trade for, because they give you the music for free, and they push it out there, so everybody wins. Yes, showing the film festival also provides laurels, and believe it or not, people actually. I shouldn't say this, but I would say, as being honest about it, is doesn't really matter where the laurel come from. It can be the worst film festival in the world, or the best film festival in the world. If you put a laurel into your poster or your marquee of the beginning of the trailer, it actually makes people think that your movie got somewhere, and so people think that you are a really good filmmaker. So, and obviously, if you have a really good film and you go all over places like Aaron Cabrera, who got maybe over 30 different laurels, then that's a proof that he is a good filmmaker and talented. So that's a different story, right? So so the more laurel they get. For feature-wise, the more laurel you get for your film, the more chances, opportunity for that film to get sold, because buyers doesn't know what kind of film festival they are. So they all care. Oh, see, this feature film has been to this festivals. This must be something that everybody like to watch. So yes, feature film wise, the more festival you can get in there, and the more laurel you get, the more chances you have. That said, if you already have a distribution deals with for your feature film, you most likely will not have a chance to get into festivals, because sometimes they don't want to have something that can be distributed already out there and losing the chance. And keep remember, festivals out there to really make money for the festival, not for your film. They're using your film to promote themselves. So if you have that mentality, that make it easier for you to understand how festival works. Yes, it's also a very good place for networking too. Outside of festivals and places that you network, it's also important to network with other communities, that business community-wise, because you never know. You might find a restaurant that you go to all the time, and they like you so much, they're willing to give you free food for your entire feature film shoot. Very good example. When I did the Rapture, the first feature film, I was living right above Roscoe House in downtown Cleveland. So I got to know the owner pretty well, Mike Frangos. And I said to him, hey, we're shooting a feature film. We might have about 100 people in and out every maybe one time, and maybe 20 to 30 cast and crew together at one point. So can you give us free meals catering for our cast and crew? And so he said, sure. But instead of giving us a free meal, he gave us $5 discount coupon for every single shoot. So we pass it out to all the cast and crew every time there's a shoot, so they can buy, with a $5 whatever. A slider pizza, 2 slider pizza, you can get it for $6 back then. So it actually happened, works really well. Some people actually keep all the coupons together and then go out later to buy a whole set of pizza for $30 or $40, and it still works. So relationship building is really important, because these people, not only they can become provide help for your feature film or your current projects, they can actually help you push it out there and to get people to want to see your movie. When we shot all the places in Ohio, and all this location we shot at, they actually tell all the people to come see the movie at the premiere, because they want to make sure that they have a lot of representation there to make it work. Another question here from Wayne is there a money-making opportunity for short films to make money? Yes, there are several independent video-on-demand websites that can actually put in. Vimeo, for example, is one of them. There's also IndieFlix, I believe I do that, and there's a Trailflix that actually is connect, and a couple other more that you can actually make money out of your short film. Obviously, YouTube have the pay section, you can do that, or you can do by subscription based by having a lot of people watching it by YouTube, or you can have it on Amazon for free. I have 2 films, actually 3 right now on Amazon, the short films that you can watch for free, and you can get some money, maybe like a penny or 2 pennies. Not a lot of money, but a lot of people watch it without you promoting it. So that should make it really well opportunities. Sometimes sales agent will pick up short films and have them compiled together into a feature to sell it as a package. So a sales agent can come to me and say, hey Johnny, do you have any short film I would like to put together as part of the compilation, so I can sell it to buyers as a group of short sci-fi films together. That's going to happen. In the LGBT community, there is a company called Wifi. They actually have a lot of different short films compiled into one big package to sell it for 2-hour long project. So they sell that as a Blu-ray, DVDs, or they actually have it on Bravos. So stuff like that does happen. You can use short film to make money, but most of the time short film are used to get your name out there, get your project out, get people know who you are. So I think that's it for now. We actually at 8 o'clock time slot, 4 minutes to 8. So we've been talking quite some, and I really appreciate everybody listening to this. This obviously going to be online later for people to watch, and obviously if you do like it, subscribe to my channel, so this way give me a chance to have more followers. I do have wish for that. We'll talk a little bit more next time, and thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys.